Hi everyone, welcome back to Falcon's House. This is my PC upgrade series, and today we are covering my storage choices, and once again I'm still having microphone issues. Currently I have a 120GB Samsung 830 SATA SSD as my OS and applications drive. I have a 500GB SATA SSD for games and video editing, and a 500GB spindle hard drive for my local storage, and everything gets backed up to my NAS, and I plan on reusing everything except for the 500GB spindle hard drive. I originally wanted to move to all SSD and use NVMe drives. However, when I was researching its performance, I found that SATA was basically just as fast as NVMe drives in normal consumer applications. Maybe 1 second faster for game loading, and a handful of seconds faster for loading into video editing and scrubbing through the video editing. Meaning I could scrub, I think Bitwit did a test on it on his channel, where he found that a normal SATA drive could handle 4K up to about a 4x playback speed, and NVMe could go up to about a 16x. But realistically, neither of those are normal use cases, and it is perfectly fine to just use SATA. I think I have a theory that this is because of the memory controllers, and why the PS5 and Xbox Series X are going to have significantly better NVMe performance than normal PCs, is because they are using tuned memory controllers specific for their applications. And I think eventually we're going to see these faster storage devices on PC with better advanced storage controllers on the chips that are designed for PCI Express 4, and that's why I wanted a PCI Express 4 motherboard, because eventually I expect that I will end up upgrading to one of those drives to maximize loading performance and everything else. But for now, it was less necessary to use all NVMe or all SATA or anything like that. So instead, I have made a choice that I'm going to use my 500GB SATA SSD as my OS and apps drive, and add a 2TB ADATA SX8200 Pro NVMe SSD, which is very close in performance to the top Samsung NVMe drives. And like I said before, it really isn't that much of a performance difference, but it was I really wanted it more for form factor and having an M.2 drive, so that I didn't have to use up all of my SATA ports on this board since it only has 4. In addition to that, for my game, and then that'll be for my games and video editing. Then in addition to that, I'll have a 2TB hard drive for my retired home theater PC to replace the 500GB hard drive that I use for storage. Then I'll use the software Primo Cache to accelerate it, with half of the storage on the 120GB SSD will be cached for both reads and writes, and for the spindle drive, so everything will get written there first, and then it'll get flushed down to the spindle drive later. And this will mean that my writing to the drive and any common read files will load faster as if they're coming off SSD, because they are. And then the mass amount of storage will just be for slower things, and that should be fine. It'll still give me a big performance boost over what I have today, but it won't allow me to, I won't have to have as much total storage. It'll be 60GB cached and 2TB total storage on that drive. The other half of that drive I plan on using as Adobe cache. I'll use it for both the scratch disk and potentially as the media cache, but potentially not. And then I'll have my main files that I'm loading into editing on the NVMe drive. And then the actual program is going to be loaded on my OS SSD. So all three with 3 separate drives to have all the storage needs for Adobe should maximize the performance there. And obviously having the games on the NVMe should load everything as fast as possible that I could have. So this should be the best storage solution, and instead of me having 1.5 terabytes of NVMe and 500 gigabytes of SATA storage, I'll have 560 gigabytes of SATA storage, 60 gigabytes of cache with a 2 terabyte spindle drive, and 2 terabytes of NVMe storage. So it's more fast storage, more slow storage, more total storage, so it should all work out really well. So that's how I do it. I'll plan on doing a video explaining my configuration with Primo Cache once I have all that set up. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.